Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to KBN Live, the final KBN Live of 2021. What's going on, Mr. Lambert? How you doing tonight, buddy?
We've made it, buddy. We've made it. Here we are.
Cheers.
Amen.
Top myself off here. Cheers to everybody in KB Nation that made this year what it was. It was a fun year here on the live show and a fun year in the group. Man, can't believe it's already passed.
On to the next. Let's see if we can do better.
Yeah, do better. That's the theme for next year.
That's our motto.
Yeah. I can't believe we've been at this so long, dude. It's been, what is this, 3 years now of doing this show?
A long time, Jeff. A long time.
Too long, some may say.
Let's be honest. We're not getting any younger, you know?
Yeah, well, I can feel that. Paul Roberts, I play with the mic because it is my nervous tick. Sorry, dude. All these people make me a little apprehensive, so I got to move the mic around to get in my comfort zone.
I like it. It makes you look really professional. I feel like you know exactly what you're trying to achieve with the resonance there.
Yeah, we got a huge show tonight, man. We got the annual KBN Awards and then the Power Rankings. It's going to be fun, and I can't wait to see the arguments after. What's going to be your favorite part?
I really, there's always people that are upset that felt like they should have done better, or they should have finished higher, or the events that they did fish should have counted for more points than whatever. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's math. Like, you don't get drops. You take everything that everybody fished, that gets factored in. And I think that's kind of a unique thing about this, is you're not focused on one series or two series or the top three finishes or whatever it is. Like, it's everything that you've done averages out. So I really think that's what causes a lot of controversy in people's minds for them.
Yeah. And I'll get into some of the criteria that we use every year, because not every event is counted, but we did count events from KBF, Bass, and Hobie this year. All three had representation, and pretty much, well, not equal representation, because Bass only had 5 or 6 events, but as equal as you can get it. Representation from all three trails, and I'll kind of break that down before we get into it later. But before we do that, as you guys probably saw on the overlay there as the countdown timer was going, we're doing a Revo Throwing Shades Monday giveaway. We're giving away some shades tonight. All you got to do is share the live stream, like the page, like Revo's page, and we'll pick somebody after the show. So yeah, Throwing Shades Monday. Always love that. Get a pair of the best lenses on earth. We were going to go through some of the best and worst of 2021 from our own perspective, and I would lead off by saying some of the best is picking up some new partners for the live show. Revo being one of them, and then Dugout Bait and Tackle, of course, coming on as the title sponsor. It's been a great year getting the support from companies like that. Don't you think, Ryan?
I do. I'm glad that we were able to kind of nail down those partnerships. Like I said, I think we've got a couple more that are gonna join us on this for next year. But just the growth of kind of the platform that we've got here, and how we're gonna move it forward, I'm excited about it. And congrats on the KFN app going live on the Droid store for for the folks you know, that are at Boost Mobile. So
For us
good job.
less fortunate on the Droid.
Yes.
Yeah, man. You know, a lot of stuff that happened in 2021 prompted me to push that project. You know, Jim Clark's on YouTube right now. He said he's in a 30-day ban from Facebook again. Stuff like that for people. A lot of times people weren't even doing anything. I think you got banned one time for saying somebody had a big head or big foot or something like that. So the mass censorship and all the stuff going on with Facebook, even though we built our platform on Facebook, is why I went on and tried to make that project happen. And man, half the app is ready on the Droid. So Apple, hopefully in the new year, will be ready too. So thanks for
how long are we out on the iPhone app? Didn't you had to get your Don Knotts number or whatever?
Yeah.
It was?
It'll probably be a few weeks, but not too long. The app is built. It just has to be uploaded to their store once they get all their I's dotted and T's crossed or whatever the saying may be. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming down the pipe. So, and there'll be a few bugs with it as it goes live. Somebody already sent me some messages today about a few things, but we're gonna fix those as we go, and make that a place we can go and have some fun without the overlords telling us we can't make fun of each other's feet or ears or whatever. So it's gonna be good. Yeah, Jim Clark said iPhone takes longer because Joe Biden has to approve it. No, I'm getting away from all that. Nobody has to approve it.
Don't listen to Clark.
China.
He ain't never had an iPhone anyway.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we wanted to get into a little bit of our best of the year before we went into the awards. You want to lead us off, man? What was your favorite thing or favorite moment of 2021, whether it was on the group or yourself or whatever?
Man, my favorite part was, honestly, which is weird because I don't necessarily go all in on the bass stuff. It was the Classic Championship in Texas. Just the way the whole deal played out. You know, we had a good house. We had Josh Evans. We had the Goldens and Dylan, and then Pendergraph. He just wouldn't leave our house. But everybody hanging out together. You know, shooting pool and having a good time, and then watching the tournament play out to where it was the Possum King and Joe McElroy going back and forth, and then, you know, what Joe did that kind of spawned the entire Save JT movement. Like, to me, that single event was the most important thing that happened in kayak fishing, not only this year, but probably the last 5 years, in my opinion. Just the snowball effect that it had that, you know, kind of touched a lot of people.
Yeah, man, that was unbelievable. I mean, you talk about stir of movement. Just that little moment on stage there did it. So I don't think people will forget the Save JT movement in kayak fishing for years to come. Maybe never.
I hope not. But I want, you know, I mean, we did a great thing there. I want to do something else big next year. I want to try to find these things that, you know, that need some attention, that are, you know, really kind of going to affect someone's entire life, and get everybody behind that. I want to try to do something big like that every year from here on out.
Hats off to you, man. I know there were folks throwing in behind you to get that done, but you took the reins of that and made that happen. So, man, that was cool to see. And one more nod of the cap to you, Mr. Lambert.
I'm still trying to catch up on that one. Yeah,
I got you.
Luckily, the hoodie orders distracted me from that. So thanks to everybody that ordered hoodies. Those are all in the mail on the way. I don't know what our next cat chasing thing is going to be here, but we'll get in on it for sure.
Yeah, man.
Organization is key.
Wow. We're not a clothing company, folks. Don't get it twisted. But you're going to enjoy them. They're nice. Yeah, man, my favorite moment, I don't know, there's a couple. I think the Save JT movement marathon and the show that we had was awesome. That was a lot of fun just seeing that happen. And then I just want to give a shout out to something that we don't talk about enough, which is the folks that are loyal to us on the audio podcast. We passed 100,000 downloads this year. That keeps growing and growing and growing on iTunes and Spotify and all the places you can get the audio podcast. So for all you that don't have time to sit here and watch us live and cut up with us in the comments, we see you. We appreciate you, and you know, thank you for doing what you do out there. Because every Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever I can get that episode uploaded, it always spikes those numbers, and the same people get on there and watch every time. So we appreciate y'all as well. And as far as from a tournament standpoint, like an actual fishing standpoint, my favorite thing of the year, man, and it wasn't my best event of the year or anything, But I had so much fun at Sam Rayburn in that house and on the lake, being empty and flooded. I thought it was so much fun, man. I had so much fun at that event, so that's probably my highlight of the fishing season.
That was a good time. Seeing that dog get your crankbait in his ass is probably one of my most memorable non-human moments of the year.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that before. Somehow he got a treble hook in his ass and reached back with his snout and then got them both hung together and managed to sling both treble hooks out and get free.
Yeah.
So
It was
a true testament to the dog never giving up.
If I'd have got that on video, dude, my TikTok would have 10 million views on that one alone.
For sure. I would watch it at least 1 million times myself.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
It was amazing because I yelled, "Ryan, I need help." And but like within 10 seconds, it was like
Buddy.
squeal, squeal, crankbait flying across the yard.
There ain't nothing Ryan can do to help with that. I'll go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna have to pin this dog down, and that son of a gun slung that bait, broke my rod. It was a good time.
What kind of rod was that broke?
It was an actual old Turney ZX Cabela's crankbait rod. So
Okay. Oh,
I've
classic.
had it for a lot of years. It put in a lot of miles, so it was fine.
I got you. Okay.
It was fine.
Congrats to the
man.
dog. You won
And
that.
yeah, anybody that's watching, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, throw your favorite moment or least favorite moment in the comments. We want to see those, and I'll try to throw them on the screen.
And Wide Dick Open came out of that house.
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to pay homage to the Sam Rayburn house. That is where Billy Bowden bestowed that worldwide phrase upon us. Thank you.
Yeah, the movement, another movement that was started in kayak fishing this year.
Slightly less prestigious, but you know,
I think he also
still-
set the world record for driving home in the turn lane. He drove like 30 miles in the turn lane home one night.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. On purpose, I like to think.
Wide Dick Open all the way. All the
Yeah,
way.
pre-fishing shenanigans with Lambert before tourney day.
Yeah, man. Good stuff.
Congrats, Billy.
Oh, man. All right. So, what do you think, man? You want to get into these awards?
Yeah, I guess we can.
Yeah, get loose. All right. Remember, like I said, everybody, we're doing a Throwing Shades Monday giveaway, so make sure you share the stream, like our page and their page, and we'll pick somebody to win some shades. We're going to get into the KBN Awards, man. I guess that's a third annual edition of the awards. This year we did it different. We
People's
actually put up,
choice.
we put up the categories for vote first. So y'all chose the categories. We took the top 10 vote getters in categories. And then this year we took the vote getters from the survey and narrowed it down to finalists and did another round of voting this week, which was actually the finalists got voted on more than the original survey. So there was a lot of votes for this. So this is all you guys. You guys made this happen, and it was funny. So without further ado, you want to start us off, Ryan? Or you want me to start it?
Well,
Didn't I send you?
you started. You started
right.
Because I don't have anything. So,
All right. Check your DMs. I sent you the file. All right, let's get ready here. So we had 10 categories that you guys
I
chose.
see.
And the first category was Meme of the Year. And there was a lot of good ones, man. There was a lot of good ones. It came down to the finalist of a late submission, which was, I don't know if you made that or you just got it from somebody, but the Allen Boys Country Superstars.
I woke up at like 8 a.m. and for some reason a Florida Georgia Line ad had popped up on my Facebook, and I was like, shit, that could be Clifton Allen. So then I converted that over.
Yeah, so that one was a finalist along with the Conrad Benetti, which I couldn't actually find the meme, so I kind of put it together, but it was a post more than a meme. It was the Bikini Bottoms action figure beside the Conrad Benetti actual wearing a Bikini Bottom
It was
Speedo
awesome.
thing.
It was awesome.
In the winner, Conrad Benetti Speedo
Oh, my
action
goodness.
figure meme. And just for your viewing pleasure.
Oh, yes. That's
There it is.
that's disgusting. Damn. Like,
Happy New Year, everyone.
I don't know how, number one, how you end up fishing just out in a canoe in tidy whities, but number two, how you manage to position a phone up to take a selfie while wearing those week-old tidy whities.
That's dangerous because he's pretty oiled up there to be holding the phone. He could have dropped in the lake. So
That's that northern in him, man. He's gotta get slathered, son. I like it.
yeah,
Good
Well
job,
done.
Conrad.
well done, Conrad.
I hope we get to see an updated photo this following year from the KFL in a similar.
He's been boxing, hitting the pads. So
he has. I've seen it. He's got a mean Superman punch. I've been watching that. I'm gonna keep an eye out for that one because I feel like it'd take him doing a Superman punch to get close enough to hit me. But
he could hit you right in the belly button if he did that.
he could, and I'm actually very sensitive in my belly button, so I hope he doesn't touch me there.
Oh, Ashley K. I didn't know my wife was watching this, so I wouldn't have shown that. She'd be running off to Florida.
Oh, she done packed up, son.
Yeah.
Oh, R.I.P. Jeff.
Yeah, man.
Okay, and next one, dude, it's amazing how, and I want to thank you for this, Conrad. You have made such an impact on all of us in some type of way. The next award here is the Conrad Benetti Ego of the Year Cockiest Angler Award. And to be honest with you, Jeff, I don't know if you can send me over the IP addresses on this. I was nominated for this shit. I get my ass kicked in 80% of the tournaments that I fish. I don't know how I got in the angler part of this. Like, I'll be cocky elsewhere, but in actual fishing abilities, más o menos. We'll see what time I wake up in the morning.
Hey, and I'll be honest with you, Ryan. You were right there. It was neck and neck to the very end of the voting.
I was afraid of that. But the guy that won this, he's got the haters, and he's posted several live videos addressing the haters. And I couldn't be more proud of this man, the people's champ, straight out of Texas, Clifton Allen. You took it home, big dog.
Allen.
Took it home.
And side note, not to disappoint everybody, but I had it set up to have a special appearance by Conrad to present this award, but he had a work situation arise and he couldn't be here. He was going to do a fireside chat of the award presentation.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, he was going to do it, man, but he had work situation arose, and he couldn't do it.
The cafeteria line.
Either that or he knew I was going to show that Speedo meme and didn't want to come on here. One or the other.
Damn, that's awful. Yeah. Cafeteria line got long down at the jailhouse, I guess.
All right, so next category. This was one of the few categories that was a runaway. It was a blowout.
Yes, it was.
It was a blowout in the votes. This was the pre-fisherman of the year. Otherwise, the practice angler of the year. There were two finalists for this. It was Jeff Sherwood and Dylan Lowry. And the day one killer, pre-fishing winner of the year, is Dylan Lowry.
Day one deal. Let's go.
I
like it.
Proud of you, son.
And Dylan, I mean, seriously, Dylan, we fished a lot of tournaments together. We stayed together for most of the tournaments on the trail. He did smash him in pre-fishing. Like, he would come in with, like, pictures of 6-7 pounders pre-fishing, and none of them would show up in the tournaments. Like, it was beautiful. It was amazing.
Yeah, man. He had a little video extravaganza with him and Christine trying to land a fish together.
What a shit show that was. Luckily no one got hurt. I don't know. I mean, Christine did the whole running on the deck thing and everything. She had that freaking leverage landing net, which I don't know if anyone's ever used one, but it's like shooting an over-under shotgun with the action broken open. That's what it's like trying to land a fish. It's not very productive. But she tried to snatch that thing and land Dill's 20-inch shoal bass. It was a hot mess. I hope we see that one in some award shows in the future.
Yeah, man. It was like the fish stick of nets. But anyway.
I can't wait. Dylan's gonna put together both days. This is a learning experience here. You got to start with one day and then you get to 2 days. But I'm confident we'll see Dill at the TOC.
You follow in the spring.
I'm putting money on it. Dill's gonna make the TOC this year. Write it down.
All right.
Okay, so the biggest surprise of 2021. What did it come down to? What was the other one besides this one?
The two finalists for that were the Possum King, winning on Possum Kingdom and the inches that he put up, and then the Rise of Cape Fields. Those are the two finalists. So
the Possum King, the reason that was so surprising is because I was shooting pool with him till 1 a.m. before he put on that absolute clinic on the boat ramp. However, I don't think there's a more deserving category winner here tonight than the Rise of Kate Fields. A lot of us have seen Kate starting out, and she's been great about documenting and vlogging like her entire journey and really kind of how she's worked. What she tries to fish like 200 days a year, 200 and something days a year. I mean,
A lot.
it's insane. Like, she has put in the time and the work to really hone her craft and really elevate her game. So congrats on Kate Fields. You had a banner year. You qualified for the TOC. You smashed them on day 3 of the TOC. I'm pretty sure you had the biggest limit on day 3 for sure, and I think one of the top 5 limits of the entire event. So congrats, lady. You did it.
She did it. It was definitely. It was funny how that worked. It was people were taking her serious because she's been working hard for a few years, but she kind of slowly evolved even throughout this year. You know, started off kind of rough and just built and built and built and built, and then closed
But you don't
strong
quit.
closed as strong as anybody. So good for her. That was awesome. And that was a close race too, man. A lot of people voted both ways on that one. So.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one was a new category this year that the people voted on.
I saw this one and I was like, how the hell does he would make it on the thing here?
This is the best looking angler category. And I had my own personal horse in this race that I was voting for, and I didn't want to campaign and seem biased. But
Who was your
finalist
horse,
for this?
if we don't mind asking?
What's that?
Who was your horse?
Bob Baylor,
Okay. All right.
the
I like
Possum
Bob.
Prince. He's not the Possum King, but as you
Bob-
saw in his video, the Prince of Possums, Bob Baylor.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was Bob Baylor, Scylla Johnson, Wesley Gray were the 3 finalists there. It was a long list that included in the also mentions were Guillermo Gonzalez, Jordan Marshall, and a few other folks. But those were the finalists. And the winner of this inaugural category is Scylla Johnson.
Scylla. Supermodel Scylla.
Scylla by a nose. So
Can
there
we,
you go.
is there, so here's what I want to ask. Is there anybody on the nation that makes tiaras or sashes or something? Can we get something put together for Scylla? I think that
You could
would be
have
cool.
Chase make one and probably get it out in the next 6 months. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we need to get it before the end of 2022. I'd like to see her wear it at a tournament or two.
Yeah.
Just
I was
kidding. Love you,
pulling-
Chase.
I was really pulling for Bob. Bob's a real one. I was going to throw the Cole Wetzel and him picture up here if he won, but didn't quite pull it out. So
I think if Bob had some sort of bikini pics, he would really up his game. So Bob, put that on your list for 2022. I want to see you make it, man.
yeah, man, he's always next year, Bob.
Here's so we just gave Clifton an award. This category is Tournament Angler of the Year, the People's Champ. So who really put on across the board on these tournaments, nationwide? The winner, to no one's surprise, Guillermo Gonzalez.
Guillermo.
Took it, man.
G.
He took it. Took it. I mean, he had a year, son. Like, from start to finish, he put up a record on, wasn't it the Trinity? Isn't that where he started destroying this year?
He put up the big bags before Possum King was doing it over there at the Trinity. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Guillermo, man, this award, if you saw Drew Gregory's post earlier in the week when there was like 15 different AOI/power ranking ideas going on, he wanted to take a poll or get some experts together. I don't know how you determine who the experts are to come up with a people's ranking. So I'm going to take the KBN people's ranking as gospel. You guys picked Guillermo, so there you go.
And later in the show, we'll compare this to the results of actual math, as they call it, and we'll see how far off that was.
Trust the science, people. All right.
Yep.
So next up, Sportsman of the Year for 2021. This has been a category each year that we've done this. I had a couple different winners, and we kind of already talked about this earlier, about the movement that happened early after the Bass Nation Championship. Sportsman of the Year, to no one's surprise, Joe McElroy for getting the tidal wave that was the Save JT movement going up on that stage with that unbelievable gesture, giving his entire second place check to Save JT. That was unreal, man.
Uncle Joe, I mean, that seriously, for I don't know how many people it hit at home, but watching that go down, on the floor by the classic stage, it was a tearjerker. So I don't think there's any argument on that. I mean, I don't think there was a close second even. That was that was the little snowball that started an avalanche. So good job, Uncle Joe. Next, lure of the year. I don't know what you need to do to be lure of the year, but I feel like this lure got it done more than anything else. I think, I don't know where it fell, but I know Cinco was on there, Jeff. And Cinco catches a lot of fish. Anybody can drag a Cinco. But the freaking jackhammer, man, if you go back and look through all the tournament recaps, I would be willing to bet 85% of those all contain the jackhammer for sure. Like 100% for sure.
Yep. Jackhammer's the winner, man. Also the people's champ of lures.
It is.
Okay, so show of the year. We had a lot of great shows this year, I thought. We had a lot of fun this year.
I thought they were all great. The hell are you talking about?
But the finalists for show of the year were the Ike episode when he won his event up there. I thought that was a really good one and informative one.
It was.
The Possum King and Joe, when we had them both on after that shootout, that was one of the finalists. And then, of course, the Save JT Marathon was the other finalist. All of them got votes, but the Save JT Marathon was the runaway winner as the show of the year. And if you guys don't remember, I mean, what was the final number, Ryan? How much money did you raise with that?
It was like 90 grand total.
90 grand?
With everything. Yeah, over 90 grand.
Unbelievable,
It was nuts.
man. Unbelievable. So,
it was nuts. I mean, clearly you can see from the voting and you can also see from the participation, but thank you all for getting behind that. I mean, like we said, it was kind of a spur of the moment deal in the wind. Like, hey, we should do a little tournament here to help this kid, and it blew up. So, thanks for making that the best episode. Thanks for making it the best thing that a lot of us will ever do in our lives, because it was. That was awesome. The next one, I don't. I just read the winner for this one. So day 2 flop of the year. I think I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, the choices were anything Dylan Lowry fished, Dusty Yacker at the TOC, which honestly Dusty didn't flop on day 2, which I thought was weird that he was nominated for that because it was actually day 3. And then all of East Texas. So, the winner is, without further ado, all of East Texas. You all won the day 2 flop of the year. Do you have any insight to that, Jeff?
By a landslide. And I don't know why that got nominated so often to make the finals, but once it was in the finals, it was a runaway.
Is East Texas that terrible? What's going on?
I don't know. I don't know what happens. Maybe they're talking, they know a few of the guys that went to national events and flopped. I don't know if they're. Who
is East Texas? That's like Jamie Broad and that bunch,
Dwayne
right?
Taff and those guys.
Dwayne, yeah. What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If anybody in the comments can tell us why East Texas flopped so hard, let us know. Yeah. I would love to be informed of what's happening.
Yeah, I just don't know why that happened, but it happened. So East Texas, congratulations, I guess. Yeah. So that's the winners. That's our 10 awards we do every year, and thank you guys for making the categories funny and informative.
Appreciate it, guys. Always keeping it live. And without further ado, should we jump in here?
Is it rankings time?
Get neck deep on this thing?
Oh, Power rankings time?
So I want you to explain to people how this works. Like, this isn't Jeff just like throwing names in a hat or picking his buddies out or whatever. There's actual math behind this. There's statistics that go into this.
So years ago, it was kind of the initial thing that got KBN on the map was coming out with the first rankings. I only used 7 events that year because, number one, there weren't that many national events. But calculated those 7 events, and I looked at the rankings from the World Golf Rankings, the tennis rankings, individual sport rankings, in other words, and tried to kind of mold that together and make a kayak fisherman power ranking. There's also what used to be the bass fan rankings, but I think they stopped doing those. But when I was coming up with this, they had them still. But anyway, a way to take all national events, or most national events, and compile them into one formula, which is a giant mess of an Excel sheet that I've developed over a few years here. One formula, one algorithm, whatever you want to call it, and come up with a power ranking. It's more fun than anything else, although people that say they don't care, there's some long threads that tell me they do care. Yeah.
I don't care, but read these 7 paragraphs of why I don't care.
But it's more fun than anything else. Obviously, it doesn't hold any weight anywhere. Other than I did find out that the U.S. Olympic Pan Am USA guy used this for his invite lists last year. So maybe it is more important than I
What an event that was. So clearly we're making a global impact. We'll go ahead and claim that.
Yeah. But let me give you a few little parameters that we use. There's events included in this from the BOS, from Bass, and from KBF. The only real human element or subjective element, I guess, is the cutoff limits for some of these events. 70 anglers minimum per event to make the list. People ask me why. I think if you don't hit a certain threshold and there has to be a stopping point, you're basically fishing a local event with a different label on it. I mean, if you've got 40 or 50 people there, people didn't come in from out of town for that. And this
and a lot of those, especially the 2 single-day type deals, you'll see half or 3/4 of the field leave after the first day. So you shouldn't get national level recognition for beating the 13 people that hung around on the second day. That's not. I don't think that carries a whole lot of
we'll use Cali as an example because I know there'll be some Cali guys in the comments or girls. They had 3 KBF trail events out there. Okay. All 3 of them happened on Friday, Saturday, Sunday back to back, and none of them had more than 40 anglers. They were all 30-something. None of those were included in this because that's not enough people to constitute a national event because it didn't draw from outside your state lines or even your county lines with that many people. So with 70 anglers, when you look at the entries in a 70 angler event, you're typically polling from multiple states, multiple parts of the country to get to that number or above. The events are weighted by field size, so all the events aren't rated the same. If it's 75 anglers, you're not going to get the same amount of ranking points as you would for a 150 angler event for winning it. And also, there's no drops. So if you fished 10 events and you had 5 that were horrible and 5 that were pretty good, you might not find yourself in these rankings, or 6 events, or whatever the case may be.
Hey, guys.
Doesn't mean you're not a great angler. And this is not an indictment on anyone's talent. I mean, if you're up in the Northeast or California or wherever you're at that you didn't have the number of events with a high attendance to make this list, it's not a knock on your talent. We know there's talented anglers everywhere. There's a dude right here in my club locally that can go toe-to-toe with anybody, Dwayne Beatty. It just doesn't get to go out and fish national events very often. But when he does, he shows up. He's in that top 10. So it's not a knock on your talent. It's just something fun we do. So I hope that kind of it's clear as mud for everybody on how we do this. So plug those events in, and we come up with this ranking, and here we go. So what do you think? Want to get after it?
I think so. I think we should get after it.
We'll start at the bottom and go up. I've got a graphic for each one.
Pro.
Here we go. You want to start us off? You got the list.
Jeff, yes, I do.
Well, I've got it too. I can.
No, stop it. No.
Well, you know what? Let me start us off because it's somebody on my team, so I'll announce him.
On your team?
Yeah.
This man's on your team?
Yeah.
BDH first victim on the parking lot stage?
All right. So this guy had a great year on multiple trails. Did well on the KBF trails and on the Bass Nation events. Number 10, my Old Town teammate, Casey Reed.
Casey Reed. Okay, listen. So here's what I really want to know. This is my main question.
All right.
When are y'all come fish some Hobie events, Casey Reed? Come on.
Look at that thing in the front of his boat. That's why he ain't been out there.
I mean, but damn, y'all make one with pedals, don't you?
I know. He might slide out. He said this year he might slide over, to be honest. So he might slide over there.
ROI, it's pretty solid. And clearly, points-wise, just running the KBF circuit was enough to crack the top 10. But, come on in the deep end of the pool.
Yeah. So there you go. Number 10, top 10. And you know what? Something else I wanted to say is there were over 1,000 names by the time I got this all pulled from all these different trails.
Seems like a lot.
It's a lot. So if you made anywhere close to this, and I'll read some names after we're done that didn't quite make the top 25, but easily could have. You had a hell of a year. But anyway, continue on.
Number 9, the Queen, the TOC Grand Champion, Christine Fisher.
Christine Fisher, obviously. Jeez, you can't deny the year she had, right?
And if you've kept up with Christine over the past few years, she loves to start out slow. She'll tell you like those wintertime, early spring tournaments are not her jam. I don't think I didn't, and I was at the event. I didn't have any idea how strong she was going to finish the year. Pickwick, she's got some history on Pickwick. You know, she knows that lake pretty well. I thought she'd do well there. Eufaula, that was to me that was number 2 for surprise of the year. Was her coming in and kind of leg sweeping Jordan Marshall at the awards ceremony. So hats off to the queen.
Hell of a year, always there. All right, I want to do a little trivia real quick for people watching that have been keeping up with this for years. Can you name the only 3 people that have made the rankings every year, including this year? Name them in the comments if you can, and I'll come up with some sort of swag pack to give you. KBN trivia. It's fun times. All right, so number 8. This is a former number 1 in the KBN rankings.
Ooh.
Hell of a year. I think Ryan has mentioned him as the best legs in the game.
Yep.
Cody Milton. Can't sleep on Cody Milton at any event. He's always a threat to win. Had a heck of a year on KBF trails. Won the AOI over there. Great year on BOS as well. Finished well on some bass events. So great year. Cody Milton. Easily one of the top 10 anglers in the sport.
Easily. I mean, and that what you're talking about, that speaks to his consistency. Like, I mean, you'll see, and honestly, a lot of the top 10 have been in the top 10. Like this isn't really a big shakeup or anything crazy that you're seeing here. Like these ladies and gentlemen are consistent across the board. But Cody is probably, I mean, one of the most consistent year after year, either being 1 or 2 for the AOY race or being 1 or 2 for the Power Rankings race. I mean, Cody gets it done from one side of the country to the other, getting his van stuck literally everywhere he goes. So, congrats, Cody.
There is only, of all the people that are trying to guess the 3 that have made it every year, nobody has even gotten close, and only one person has gotten one name right.
Really?
So, yeah, no one's even close. Keep guessing.
All right, number 7. Baby brother, your Angler of the Year, Hobie Bass Open Series, Jordan Marshall. If you don't know Jordan, the determination this mullet-wearing kid has, he fishes his ass off all the time. Like, he and I don't hang out at tournaments much because I don't fish my ass off much. He is super focused. Like, this guy is, like, greasing his spinner baits and shit. I don't know what he does. Like, just crazy stuff. Like, changing the oil in his reels or whatever people do. I don't know. But he is super focused on the tournaments. He really focuses on covering water and power fishing, and it pays off year after year. You see his name at the top. I think he's gotten, 3 top 5s at TOCs now? I mean, it's insane. Like, the body of work that this Knoxville mullet man has put together. Congrats, baby brother.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't listened to the podcast he did with Paul Roberts, who's watching on YouTube over at the Bass and Brews podcast, it's a long one. I listened to it on a drive to go fishing weekend or 2 ago. Jordan goes into some of the stuff he does with tweaking his spinnerbaits on the fly and the blades and stuff that he brings with him to change that stuff up. It's there's a science to it. So go over and listen to the Bass and Brews with Paul and Jordan. It was a good one.
Paul's hilarious. I was supposed to co-host that episode, and it's completely my bad for having to work dinner. But both of those guys were hilarious. Yeah,
he said he was going to have me co-host sometime, but he's never called me. So maybe
he's flaky. You got to watch him.
Damn it, Paul. But anyway, all right. So number 6. Number 6, one of the young guns. He's been consistent. He's always consistent, and that's key to making the top, 5 or 6 in these rankings. Seems to never have a really bad event. Jackson Orr. Hard to argue with Jackson never being ranked.
Old Jax. The guy, I mean, little Jackson, he's got some work ethic. And Jackson, I don't know if he's going to leave us or not. He just picked up a Phoenix, so I don't know if he's still going to continue to wreak havoc on the kayak fishing side or what. But he definitely has been a power, throughout his years. I think he's made the TOC every year as well. But, great kid, great raising. Hats off to Jim. But he got it done and cracked that top 10.
Yeah, man.
Number 5.
Top 5.
Number 5. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he claims Texas now because he's got more sense. But originally, supposedly, from Cali, the man, BDH, Brian Howell.
The only initials in the game that you really know, BDH.
Boy, hey, BDH cashing checks. And cashing checks in some skinny ass little jogging pants too. He's always got them little joggers on, and he's always there on the final day getting his name wrote down on something.
Yeah, him and Miss Taylor about to have a baby. Jason Cassidy said we might get a break in 22. I don't know if he's talking about Jackson or Brian, but maybe both of them.
Is Brian retiring? Is Taylor making Brian? I don't.
No, man.
I think she's gonna make him fish more. I think
maybe.
I think she'll have him on the road full time.
Need that formula money. That Similac money. All right, number 4. Another youngin. This kid led the BOSAOI for most of the year. Also one of these guys that never had a bad event. I mean, never had a bad event all year long.
This kid.
The one and only Edwin. AKA Ewing Minor.
So I'm going to be real honest with everybody. I took a nap earlier today. During that nap, I don't know if I was just hyped up on the show or what. I had a dream. I think it was like me and Shane and Jackson and Dylan, I think Carter Koza, in a parking lot of a boat ramp. And Edwin was across this slough from us fishing like a little bridge, a little underpass. And he was on speakerphone and he was talking shit to me. And I took my things out of my pockets and I started swimming across that slough to go whip his ass. That's how sick of Edwin winning stuff I am. I woke up. I didn't drown. My cardio is not what it used to be, so I woke up halfway through that swim over there. But, watching Edwin firsthand come into the scene at Seminole, and then we kind of took him into our little traveling band of gypsies, and he stayed with us quite a bit. Just his mindset. He's always positive. He thinks he's going to win everything. There's not one event that he goes into that he does not think he's on the winning fish. And honestly, I think that attitude has a lot to do with his success. And obviously, it paid off for him very well this year.
Yeah, another one of the highlights of the Sam Rayburn trip is Edwin fit himself into a TV tray box somehow and walked around the living room for.
He sure did. He sure did.
Yeah, young Edwin.
All right, number 3. This guy has been here quite a bit in the top 3. He's won some of the biggest, cash money events in kayak fishing. Tennessee guy, Russ Snyder's.
Boom. The man. Another former number 1 on these rankings.
Another former number one.
Russ, the man. Can't argue with that, dude. He's always around the top 5, top 10. Rarely has a really bad event, so.
Hey, my boy can't read a sign for shit, but he'll catch some fish. That's a fact.
Can't see. Needs some glasses.
Big fact. He's out there like Ray Charles casting. He don't know there's one there till he hits it with a jig. But Russ can catch these shit out of some fish. So here we are again.
I saw this week, dude, is Russ's Reacher debuted this week. I know they called it.
Damn! We talked about that. Snyder Sniper is the PC name, but for us, it will always be Russ's Reacher. That was one of the funniest surprises that I think we've ever had on a live episode.
Ryan didn't have to say a word, but you could read it all in his eyes when that name was announced that night, that fateful night. But yeah, if it was Russ's Reacher, I just bought a half dozen of them already. But
it was
good work on the Sniper. It's cool to see a kayak angler get a signature series something. I know Ron Champion has some stuff, Russ has some stuff, so there's a trend going there.
And no, honestly, I mean to kind of elaborate on that point, that's what I talk like when we're talking about these companies giving back to kayak anglers. It's not even giving back, but it's utilizing the talent that you have, the people that you work with. I want to see these big companies start to put a little more into the kayak fishing, because Russ is a huge name. He has great recognition across the board. I mean, stuff like this is what we all need to be kind of pushing for. That's where it starts to be more of a feasible living for guys, year in and year out. It's that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so good stuff. Congrats on number 3, Russ. All right, number 2, man. We're down to the final 2. And number 1 and 2 could have easily swapped had this number 2 guy made the final event and had a good showing. Who knows? But But number 2 in the rankings, he's been in the top 3 before. Another guy that was consistent all year across multiple trails, never really had a bad event. Drew Gregory.
I think everybody knew Drew was going to be there. I mean, like you said, as far as consistency goes, I feel like, and this is probably just my own mental block, I feel like he's in the top 2, like every damn event I fish, like all of them. Like he finds some little something that nobody else has looked at and makes his way to the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah. And Drew is is the guy, I guess, that is the only guy that has made the crossover from personality to tournament angler and made it really happen. I know Greg Blanchard has a huge YouTube, and he's a hammer, and if he traveled out here more, would do the same. But, you got, Gene's trying to get into this, Fluke Master. You got Hoover, never really fishes tournaments. But as far as like the YouTubers / personalities in the sport, Drew has made the crossover like no other by a million miles.
There's a difference in talking like you can fish and backing it up. Like there's a huge difference. Like getting a TV show or getting sponsorships or whatever because of some connection or some investor, that's one thing. But to go out on the tournament trail and really earn your keep in the most competitive kayak tournaments that we offer, that's where you show that you're real. And hats off to Drew for doing that.
Yeah. Good stuff. That only leaves one, man. That only leaves one. And there's a name we hadn't mentioned yet. We'll see if people can guess who that might be.
All right, so we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
We'll announce number 1 next week.
I don't think there's any question. Again, he's the people's champ this year. The man himself, Guillermo Gonzalez, your national champion, beat a field of, 400 something, whatever, down there in the swamp. He beat our eyeballs in at Pickwick, dominated the Trinity River. Across the board, Guillermo's put up some great wins this year, and, he's your most powerful angler in the land for 2021, so recognize.
That's right, man. Hard to argue. And something else people are probably sleeping on is he didn't win this event, but he finished top 5 at the opening bass event on Lake Fork with nearly 200 people in it to throw on the pile of all the other success he had. So, hell of a year for Guillermo, and he's always in these rankings too. I think you could put the top 10 in a hat and shake them up, pick one out, and say, "Hey, this is your number 1 person," and you'd have a hard time arguing against it. I think they all had fantastic years. But Guillermo, like you said, with his success across all 3 trails and the big limits he put up, clear number 1 to me.
So let's talk about that. How important is it in the formula of things to fish multiple trail events for the and I want to preface this. I love these power rankings. In the grand scheme of things, they don't really mean shit. Like, we appreciate it. Like, it's an entertainment value, and we try to level out across the board of where everybody stacks up against each other. But how does each particular event factor in, Jeff? Like, how important is it for people that are trying to achieve this as a goal to kind of weight what they're going to fish and what they're not?
Well, it's kind of hard because, like I said, it's based on which events are selected are based on attendance. And it's hard to know ahead of time which ones are going to be attended the most. But you can kind of know, Lake Fork's going to have huge numbers. If there's an event in Tennessee, it's going to have big numbers, things like that. If they go way up into New York somewhere, maybe not. The Champlain event didn't make it, stuff like that. So try to pick events that have large numbers of people coming to them, if you can guesstimate that. And it really doesn't matter if you fish across multiple platforms, but you're going to have to fish quite a few events to get in this because we didn't take people that only fished 2 or 3. You had to have a big sample size to make the list.
Gotcha. Okay. So fish often and fish big is the advice.
Fish biggins, fish often, do well, don't have stinkers, and don't leave on day 2 like I did a couple times.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a great drive home on day 2, though. I got out early. It was got lunch. I could settle down when I got in. Hats off to the folks that made the list. We got you got the top 25 graphic that we'll throw up, but to kind of check that off your list should be more of a personal goal than a professional goal. Like you said, we can't take this in and cash it in at a hardware store or Bass Pro for any kind of dollars for you, but it does give a great kind of larger scope of where everybody, really comes into play as far as how many events you fish and the quality of those events.
Yeah. And I've got the whole top 25 graphic I'm going to throw on the screen here in a second. But let me talk about a few people that just barely missed the top 25, because hats off to you. You had a great year anyway, regardless of what our little rankings say. One of them is my man right here on my right on the screen, Mr. Lambert, just barely missed the top 25 rankings. Eric Siddiqui had a great year. Zach Hall, Jason Cassidy's in the comments. He barely missed making the top 25. Daniel Lyons, Mike Elsey. Kate Fields, as big a year as she had closing the year, she barely missed the top 25 on the ranking scale. Anthony Winkleman, Barry Davis, Brad Case. There's a few that just barely missed it. But hats off to y'all. You had a great season anyway. But let me throw this whole graphic up so you can see who else, if any other names come to mind there. And has anybody guessed who the three were that have made it every time? AJ, I didn't mean Champlain. What was the one Ike fished? What lake was that?
Oh, that was Upper Chesapeake. That was the 30
Upper Chesapeake, AJ. That's what I meant. I knew it was
30
up there
angler
somewhere.
shootout.
Yeah,
all the Northeast runs together, AJ.
Yeah, Champlain,
you know how those little ponds are.
Yeah. It's all the same to me. Once you get past Pennsylvania, I stop paying attention. Yeah. But there's your full top 25, man. Just outside the top 10, you got Richie McMichael, Matt Ball, Matt Scotch, Adam Reiser, Jay Wallen, Brian Coyne, Kurt Smits. There's Jody Queen down there, Dusty Yacker. A lot of hammers down in the
Tim Isaacs, one of my favorite grouchy old men to see at a boat ramp is Tim Isaacs.
Yeah.
You got to twist his arm to get him to smile, but he's always a pleasure to be around. Josh Stewart, who is a hammer in Tennessee, always finds his way, in the competitive side of these tournaments. And my boy Eric Thomason squeaked in the 24th spot. Eric's another river guy. He and Marshall fish together quite a bit. Another, kind of local hammer out of the home state here. And Joey Vanyo himself.
Yeah. Josh, I don't know if he pronounces his name Deal or Dial on there, but he was self-proclaimed Bass Angler of the Year if they would have had points, and he ended up making the top 25 anyway.
So he was correct.
There you go, Josh.
In essence.
Yeah, and I see Zach Hall in the comments. I don't know if I mentioned him, but he was just barely outside the top 25 as well. So good year for you, Zach. Got to meet Zach this year on the trails out there as well. So, yeah, I'd love to hear everybody's comments.
Josh Dallas who posted the Pro Series announcement, correct? Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's right.
There?
That's right.
I think
even talk
we need
about
to.
that.
I was gonna say, I think we probably need to take the last few minutes here and shed some light on that. So KBF announced its Pro Tour, Pro Series, whatever. It's going to start out as a side pot type deal, and then what were the projections? Like $50,000 for a Pro Tour championship year after next, and I don't know. It was like some 5-year plan or something.
Let me get over and find it while you're talking.
I just want to let people know this is not new. Like there's been a KBF Pro Tour Series side pot thing before. Like we've seen this in action. So the new folks in the sport, don't let your eyeballs explode. Participation was super low the first time around. I don't know if the projections are better for now for a $500 buy-in side pot type thing, or if they've just got some sponsors that are gonna jump in behind it. But the Pro Tour is not a brand new concept. Again, like I think what I would like to see are more accurate projections of what might happen in reality. I think the whole carrot on the stick, over promise, under deliver mentality is kind of played out. I would like to see, if you have sponsor money locked up, if you have commitments, then put out something like this. I don't like all the asterisks and maybes and whatnot. That's just overhyping and trying to get people to buy in without any kind of, real product to deliver on the other end of things. So I know everybody thinks, KBN's so biased, blah, blah, blah. We've seen it. We've been here. This is not something brand new. We've been in this for a little while. So take that with a grain of salt.
There's two things that bother me here. Number one, the last sentence says, in order to do that, here's the 3-year plan for increasing payouts. And I see 5 years on this page. So that bothers me a little bit right off the bat. But the main thing is I just do not like concurrent events. like over top of each other. I don't like the double dipping, the triple dipping, quadruple dipping, whatever the case may be. I think that's silly. I think it would be awesome if KBF did a pro tour that was a standalone pro tour and they had money behind it, like you said. But just to do a basically a big money side pot, I mean, what is that? You could feasibly have 3 or 4 different winners.
But that's been enough. That's been the premise, and that's what I honestly like. That's what frustrates me about the business model. If you look at the championships, the national championship, the trail championship, the online championship, the Tuesday championship, like you don't have to just continue to like build side pot upon side pot. That's not the growth of the sport. That's just whoever's already there spending a few more dollars to get into something else. I want to see something. I want to see a pro series. I don't care who puts it on. I want to see a big money trail where guys and girls can go out and earn a respectable income chasing this stuff. But I just think extra investment on the side is probably not the way. I don't think that's the move. I would like to see somebody secure a big sponsor and really put something great on.
Yeah. So, the side pot deal, not feeling it. I don't know how many people are going to invest in that, but the weird thing was the last time they did that is you had people that actually didn't win either of the trail events, but won the pro part and were, flexing on Facebook or whatever that they won the pro series. But really, you didn't win anything. You got beat by everybody in the trail event, but you were just one of the only 20 that entered the pro. It's so strange. It needs to be
for a second. I had finished second place at Gunnersville until the numbers were retallied. Hours later, but the pro at that one, and that was a decent. I think there were like 40 or so people that were in on that pro side pot. The check for it was comparable to the second place check for that, but many of the others were like 8 or 10 people that bought into the side pot. So, and didn't KBS did back before they dissolved, they did a pro series thing, and there would be like 1 or 2. I think Brad Case won a pro championship.
When you do this stuff,
2.
man, I don't think you need to let people be able to dongle their feet in the water and like maybe enter it because they're already going to be there. It needs to be like some skin in the game. You're going
commit to something. Yeah, that's the thing, man. I agree.
I think All-American Series, if they're going to do it this year, that's what they're doing. They're going to be a separate event, big money buy-ins. We'll see if they do it or not. So I wish KBF would do something separate or somebody. That'd be cool to see, but I don't like the side pot thing. Maybe we'll have the new president on here in 2022, man. Who knows? We might pull their president on here and talk to him about it.
Joe Byron?
Yeah, Joe Byron. Let's go, Byron.
Byron's coming on.
Yeah.
Let's go, Brandon. I'll agree with that.
Yeah. Might have him on here. That's why. But yeah, we'll see what happens in 22. We might have somebody from there on to explain this a little better because we're going to have some downtime between the beginning of the season, after the new year. So, yeah, man. Oh, and some people were trying to answer the trivia question. Nobody got it right. So let me tell you who. The only
Nobody
three,
got it right.
The only 3 to make the rankings every year since their inception: Matt Scotch, Jay Whalen, and Matt Ball. Those are the only 3 to make it every year.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
Yeah, with all the hammers here, they're the only 3 that made it every year.
I love it.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your answer. And big shout out to Christy over at KBF for sending me the spreadsheets to do these rankings. AJ at Hobie, of course. Dwayne at Tourney X for helping me out with all the Tourney X stuff and with Bass. And then the Fishing Chaos folks sent it over to Christy and them, and they sent it to me. They're very, very coy with their numbers. They won't give me anything. They have a strict policy. But Bass works with Dwayne, so they were able to work together and get me the spreadsheets. So shout out to all of them for getting me the info I needed.
I'm glad the KBF folks didn't get locked all the way out of being
no.
They were eligible for the Power Rankings.
Christy and Lynette, they were very cool, very helpful. I appreciate them helping me out with this and everybody else with the other trails. AJ is always clutch to help with this, so appreciate him and Dwayne over at Tourney X. So good stuff. Appreciate everybody's help. It was fun.
I love it. So we'll start off 2022, I guess, on our next run. We got some good guests lined up. We're going to try to offer some maybe some insight as to what folks can do to help grow their own brand, if you will, and how some of these sponsor companies are rewarding anglers monetarily to kind of support them chasing these trails. So we're going to have some guys on to talk about that, and hopefully, get everything prepped and everybody ready to kick off the 2022 season.
That's it, man. Unbelievable 2021. I just want to say thanks again, everybody that watched it this year and helped us with the page, and everybody on the audio podcast once again. Unbelievable, man. Good times.
It's fun watching it grow, Jeff. Hopefully we get to do it for at least another 6 months.
That's right. Before we cancel, we've got KFN now.
Baby steps.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate everybody. Everybody have a happy new year, man.
Y'all stay safe.